What?
Like this with yoga. So let's just start with our wrists. So we're gonna put our hands out here, extend your arms, right? And what we wanna do is try not to move the arm, and we're gonna try to isolate the wrist. So none of this, it's all from the wrist, and we're gonna go 10. Let's go 10 each direction. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then let's go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then we're gonna do our neck. So we're just gonna imagine we're just creating a circle like this, and the top of our head was a light, and we're shining a beam. The beam would be drawing a circle on the ceiling. So we're basically gonna just do this all the way around for 5. Try to really get the edges, so the side of your neck, front of your neck, back of your neck should feel like it's getting a good stretch. Ideally, we're not moving the shoulders very much, so we can isolate the neck. Then we're going to go into the other direction, same thing, other direction. Okay, let's go ahead and one more thing with the neck. We're just gonna rotate, right, left to right. So again, try not to move your shoulders like I am now. Shoulders stay still, and just turn your neck and try to imagine you're looking behind you. So I'm gonna turn, look behind me, turn, look behind me, 5 inside. From there, we are going to do our shoulders. So, we've done this many times. We're going to rotate forward. This is for 5. And then rotate backwards. 5 reps. Once you get 5, we are going to just do some arm circles. So we're going to do both arms. Big. You don't have to go fast. Just try to create the biggest circle you can. We're going to go 5 forward. 3, 4, 5, and then reverse it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to rotate and look behind us like this. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. After that, put your hands on your hips. We're going to do some hip circles. We're going to move our whole body here. So the way to break this down is I want to move my hips as far over to the left as I could. Then I'm going to shift them forward as far as I can here, squeeze my butt. Then I'm going to go to my right as far as I can. Now we're going to push our hips all the way back. So we're basically hitting 4 points, which creates the circle. And we're going to do 10 each direction. So that's 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. Think about breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. 9 and 10. Reverse it, other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Okay, one more thing. We're gonna do our ankles. So, a little balancing drill for some of you guys. We're gonna put one foot out. We're gonna rotate it 10 each direction. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. How would that feel, Sarah?
Good.
Good. Sarah has a joke for everybody. Go ahead.
No, I don't.
I'm just kidding. Okay, the next thing's going to be 5 different movements. We are going to focus on the spine. It's going to feel pretty good, so, you know, in my opinion, don't go fast, don't rush through this. You know, think about really hitting every angle, every corner, as much rotation, whatever the movement is calling for. Try to squeeze as much out of it as you can. And of course, breathe deeply. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Some of this stuff we've done before, some of it's just a little variation of it, of stuff you've done before. Okay, so the first things are 5 repetitions. And we're gonna do a back bend to forward fold. So when you do this, you're going to squeeze your butt first, and then lean back as far as you can. Open your arms like you're just saying, I love my life. And then you're gonna fold down, roll the shoulders, try to touch your toes. When you fold down to touch your toes, go ahead and bend your knees a little bit. But you should feel a nice stretch, maybe the low back, the hamstrings. Okay guys, so let's start there. We're just gonna do this all together. 5 reps here. So big inhale, squeeze our butt. Inhale here, exhale, go down. Inhale on the way up, squeeze our butt. Exhale, go down. 3, squeeze our glutes. 4, one more, squeeze our butt. 5, awesome. Okay, we're gonna do the same exact thing now from a straddle position. Straddle just means standing in a really wide stance. We're trying not to bend our knees on this one. So you can see Sarah, how she's nice and wide. Whatever that is for you, some people can get really wide, some people might get us a little wide. As we do this, the balance might feel a little different as you fold forward, so just be careful. So we're gonna do 5 again here, same thing. We start off by squeezing our butt, open, and down. Open, down. What I like to do is I'll bend my elbows and see if I can get my elbows to touch the ground instead of my hands, because I'm so flexible. 4.
Hamstrings are so.
Rest. All right. Now we're going to do a horse stance squat. So Sarah's basically going to keep her feet where they are. She's going to pull her knees apart actively, and then she's going to pull those knees apart, sink down into that squat, and so we're here, right? We're getting really low, and we're going to do a rotation like we've been doing for the warm-up. So the rotation is here. 1, 2. So go ahead and do this, guys. 3, 4, 5. And then when you're done, 5 each side, go ahead and stand up. Okay, shake it off. Whew. Next thing is going to be a around the world, and we're gonna stay in that straddle position. So we're really wide with our feet. So as wide as you've been with those last two exercises, let's try to get back to that same stance, maybe a little wider. And then around the world is basically, we're gonna put our hands up in the air like you just don't care. Then we're gonna reach over to the side like this, and then go down, sweep the ground, come up, reach to the other side, reach back at the top, and then continue our circle. So this is for 5 reps each direction. 2, 3, 4, 5. Other direction, once you get 5, it's like interpretive dance. 1, 2. I feel like I should have a leotard on. 3.
Oh my gosh, you made me
4. 5. All right. Good job. From there, we're going to go down to the ground. So once you get your 5, we're going to go down to the ground. We're going to do a long cat-cow. So we've done this before in the last 5 days. What that means is we're going to go down to our elbows like Sarah is. And you want to walk your elbows out away from your knees. So we're in that elongated position as far as knee to elbow. And you're just going to do 10 cat-cows like we normally do. Spine up, spine down. Spine up, spine down. 10 reps here. Does it isolate the T-spine a little bit more? Most people are stiff there. Once you get 10, go ahead and stand up, y'all. Ooh, that feels good. We're gonna start at the top again. So we're gonna do a back bend for a fold with the narrow stance. So our feet are pretty much close together. And we're gonna start at the top, right? Squeeze our butt first to protect our lower back. Reach back, open up the chest. Exhale, fold down. That's 1. Try to go a little deeper on this stretch now. And 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, from there, straddle stance, back bend to forward fold. Same thing we just did. Now we're just going to stand really wide, open up, and fold down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Stay in that stance. Let's go ahead and squat down, pull the knees apart, horse stance, and we're going to do our rotations, 5 each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, straighten the legs. Stay in that stance. Around the world, 5 each direction. 1, 2, 3. Remember to breathe in through your nose, out your mouth. 4. As you come down, you exhale. As you come up, you inhale. 5. Other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After you get 5 each direction, come down to the ground. Cat-cows, elbows elongated, the long cat-cow. 10 of these, guys. In through the nose, out through the mouth. At the bottom, you inhale. At the top, you exhale. That's a great little spine routine that you can do at any time. And if any of this stuff feels good, like some of the stretches, even though you guys are doing it online through the Zoom, and we're setting out an email every day that has a video of all this stuff. So if you want to go back and just kind of pick a stretch out that may have felt good, it's there. All right, so the next thing is the main thing. We're gonna do 5 rounds. We're gonna do different pulsing variations of different movements. And this is definitely, it's gonna feel like a workout, there's no doubt about that, but it's also gonna open up a lot of tissues without holding a static or passive stretch. Difference is, passive or static, if we're just kind of sitting there holding a stretch and breathing, it's very calming. This way, it's a different kind of stretching that actually works better if you needed to get more flexible more quickly. So this is like in gymnastics or something, this is what they would do. Okay, so the rep ranges are 5 to 15. And the reason why there's such a big difference is I want you to listen to your body. 15 means that it feels good, you want to keep going, it's not too bad. If you're super tight and it's a little too intense, maybe you just do 5, okay? And but you want to also maximize your range of motion. And what that means is, let's say I was going to bend over to touch my toes. If I could get to my ankles, maybe not the ground, but if I really force myself to get down to the ground, that's maximizing my range of motion. So if I have an extra inch where I can go into that range of motion, you want to go there. You don't want to just stop an inch or two before you're at your peak. So that's how we get more flexible. That's how you're going to get the most out of this, and that's part of the reason why it's 5 to 15 reps. The intensity, when you do this correctly, can get pretty high. Okay, enough of that. So the first thing's called a long lunge. A long lunge is like a split squat, but we're just trying to stand as wide as possible, and that means that the front foot to the back foot, we want as max distance as possible. For some of you guys, it might look like you're doing a splits. For others, it might look like you're just doing a little bit longer than a normal split squat. So let me just demonstrate. If I'm here and I take a long step back like this is pretty long for me. I could probably go a little bit wider, and then I'm just gonna go up and down like that, okay? So that would be a long lunge, and I'm trying to stay upright like this. I'm trying not to let your torso lean forward like this, because if we can stay upright, I can keep a nice stretch on the front of this hip right here, and that's part of what we're trying to accomplish with this exercise. So, if you have like a broomstick or a stick, because this can be challenging for some of you with the balance, feel free to grab something. Even if you put a chair on your side, just so you don't fall over, that's perfectly fine for this. And if you need help with balance in order to accomplish this and get a little deeper into the movement, perfectly fine, And if there's 2 of you guys doing this together, which I see, you guys can hold hands. So, but that'll definitely help, okay? So this is an option if you need it. That's the first exercise. The second exercise is something we've done before. It's just a horse stance. And we're gonna go down nice and deep and get as wide as you can, and we're just gonna pulse in the bottom of that horse stance. So if I get really wide here, pull my knees apart, go down, I'm just gonna pulse right here. So the bottom of the pulse should feel like where the stretch is. So we're just going up and down. As you can see, I'm not moving very much, but I can feel a deep stretch on my groin and all the stuff on the inside of my leg. So that is the horse stance. The third thing is a standing straddle pulse. So that looks like kind of like what we did in the warm-up. So we're gonna get back in that wide stance. This is our straddle position. Be careful with this. For me, what I would do is I would bend my arms like this, and I'm going to try to get the elbows to just touch the ground. So I'm going to fold forward, and I'm pulsing. So just like that. So I can touch the ground with my elbows from this position. Some of you guys, that's not going to happen. So what you can do is you can just put your hands, it's okay to put your hands on the ground to control the intensity as well. And you can just kind of do this, if you can see that. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Even if you put something, an object there, if you got some yoga blocks or something, and just to have more control, that might feel like the most intense thing besides the long lunge. Okay, the next movement's a down dog pulse. So everyone, I'm sure, has done the down dog before, downward facing dog. And for this one, once I'm down there in the movement, what I'm really trying to do is activate my shoulders by clawing into the ground with my hand. So a lot of people put a lot of pressure on their palms, but you also want to dig into the ground with your fingers. So there's a certain rule that our body follows as far as the biology, and if we can get our fingers involved, we're going to create a lot more stability in our shoulders, and we can open up our shoulders better that way. So, and I'm constantly pushing the ground away from me, like I'm trying to get my arms to grow, okay? So if I'm down here in this down dog, I'm going to come here, and the pulse is just me pushing my head through my shoulders, or my arms, to open up my shoulders. So, like this. So you guys can see that. So, I don't really feel a whole lot of stuff going on with my hamstrings. If you're really tight in your hamstrings, you might feel that too. We're not using this exercise to open up the hamstrings, we're using it to open up the shoulders. So focus on that, and again, we're being very active. The next exercise is something new. It's called a seated figure 4 side push-up. So the way we do this is, if you guys have done a variation of this before, so we're in this position, kind of like if you remember this exercise, that's called a shin box. So we're in that same position. All that means is that my legs are closed, my knees, and the top of this foot right here is on top of this leg. And then I'm going to show you from the side. All we're going to do is I'm going to twist, put my hands down. This hand ends up in front of this knee. This hand ends up in front of this hip. And then I'm going to try to see if I can get my chest to touch the ground. So that's the push-up. I'm going to take a big inhale here. Exhale as I go down. And then up. So the shoulder that's farthest away from my hip, which is this side, I'm trying to get that shoulder to touch the ground. For me, that's not going to happen. But for some of you guys, you might get pretty close. This is an amazing stretch. There's so many different places you're going to feel it. You might open up your shoulder, you might open up your chest, you might get a lot of stuff in your ribs, your spine, and even possibly your hips. So again, this is our here. We're going to go down and up. So this is just opening up tissues. Should not feel that intense unless you're just extremely tight in all these areas. So we're going to do each side on that one. And then the last thing we're going to do is a seated external rotation, hip rotation. So we've done something like this in the classes if you've been there. So my hands are going to be nice and close together. I'm going to pull my shoulders back. I'm going to scoot my butt forward until I feel a little stretch in the front of my shoulders. So right in here. Then I'm going to just let my knees fall on one side. So they're falling to this side, okay? So from here, I'm going to take my hands off of the ground right now. This knee, I'm going to try to get the inside of that knee to touch the ground. But I don't want my hands to disconnect from the ground. So at all times while we're doing this, both hand and fingers stay connected to the ground, and that'll increase the stretch. Because if I were to go here and go to this side, let's say, and I let my hand come up, you guys can see that, I'm not going to really get a lot of stretch here, but if I can keep my hands and my fingers glued to the ground, boom, Now all of a sudden it starts to get intense. For me, I feel the front of my shoulders, but my hips is where I feel it most. My shoulders are pretty open compared to my hips. For some of you guys, it might be the opposite. You feel more shoulders and less hips, or you might feel both. And that's it, guys. So we're gonna start at the top right now. We're gonna do the long lunge first, 5 to 15 reps. We're gonna start, and we're gonna go through this stuff quickly. I know the explanation took a little while, but once we get going, there's not a lot of rest between movements, and we're gonna try to get 5 rounds. All right. Oh, any questions? Any questions? No, we good? We cool? Alrighty. Miss Sarah, they're waiting for you. I'm gonna do this too. 5 to 15 long lunges. Ready? Go! Try to stay upright. Keep a vertical torso. Do not lean forward, even if that means you don't go down as low. We're switching to the other side. You might notice a difference between sides. I do. All right, from there, we're going into our horse stance pulse. Get nice and wide, guys. Pull the knees apart and just pulse up and down out of the bottom. 5 to 15 of these. Breathe in through your belly, out through your nose. From there, we're gonna stay nice and wide, right? We're gonna do our pulsing straddle position. 15 of these. So Sarah's electing to keep her hands on the ground. I'm gonna use just my elbows. Do what makes you feel comfortable. 5 to 15 of these. From there, down dog pulses. So remember, claw into the ground with your hands. Activate your fingers. Push away from the ground. Open up that body. 5 to 15 of these. Okay, our seated figure 4 side push-up. So, remember your body is twisted and you're doing a push-up, trying to get that chest to the ground. Good. Inhale, exhale. And if you feel a good stretch, you don't have to rush it. Wow, that's pretty good. How's it feel? Easy. Why is it so hard for me?
It's like I'm tighter here, so I do feel more pull here.
Try to get your right shoulder to the ground.
Right shoulder. Oh, right shoulder. Yeah.
There we go. So again, on these ones, the shoulder closest to the knee, try to get that one close to the ground. Shoulder closest to the knee, get that closest to the ground. That'll increase the stretch. Okay, from here, we're gonna do our seated external rotation. So you're seated like Sarah is, and we're gonna just try to keep the shoulders back, scoot your butt as far forward as you need to, and we're just trying to get the inside of the knee to touch the ground. Scoot your back forward more.
Forward.
Yeah. Now do it.
Oh, yeah. Shoulder.
Good. And again, if you don't feel the stretch, you might need to just scoot your butt farther forward. Be careful, you might feel your elbows on this one. It's definitely gonna open up those tendons, which isn't a bad thing, but just don't force anything. Feel that?
Yeah. Everything's pulling on my right side because I'm tight on my right side.
Sarah's tight on the right side. All right, guys, that's one down. Everyone stand when you're done. And we're gonna go back into these long lunges. So depending on how that first round felt for you, you know how to set up here. Maybe you go a little bit wider. Maybe you feel comfortable doing more reps. It's up to you guys. All right. Horse stance pulse. Get nice and wide. Maybe you try to go a little wider here. 5 to 15 of these.
Yes.
For master.
What happened?
Mark, what are you trying to tell me?
It's provocative, man.
It's provided.
Standing straddle pulse. So get really wide.
So it's the other here, right? Like this?
Yep. Other variation. Elbows. You're trying to reach down.
Oh my god, that feels good.
Right? Sarah approves. See if you can get your head to the ground, some of you guys. Liesel?
Call it by name. Down dog.
Down dog pulses. Remember, push away from the ground. Really feel those shoulders. For me, I feel underneath my shoulder blades when I'm pushing up and away, which is not a bad thing. It's good. It's what you want. Feel these?
This is.
Feel the whole program.
Pulsing program.
This opens up the fascia.
Yes.
I got this one over
You guys feel the fascia opening?
All right, seated figure forward side push-up. So again, if you notice Sarah, she wants to get her shoulder that's closest to her knee to the ground. Okay? That's how we're gonna open tissue. Jay, look at me. Try to bring your hands close to your knees if that changes. Same thing?
I mean, I can't quite get my shoulder. I mean, I have to really like push. You want to watch
I was.
everyone's form?
I'm going to.
Form check.
Form check. Good. Good, guys. Get the breathing down. Good. I think I see you, Rose.
Don't block the camera.
Awesome.
Ruby, you wanna?
Oh, he just said you're going fast.
Huh?
Mark said we're going fast.
Oh, too fast. Okay.
We'll go a little bit slower.
Good, guys. And yeah, don't go so fast that you're not feeling the stretch on these. Okay, we're gonna do a seated external rotation. So she's on her butt, right? Hands are behind her. And you want to close the gap between both hands. So the closer your hands are together as well, the more you're gonna feel the stretch. If your hands are really wide, so here, that's not gonna do as much for you as if they're more narrow. So, and then now we're just trying to get those hips down. Feel that?
My right shoulder doesn't want to hug.
Yep. And then actively pull your shoulders back. Pull your shoulders back. And again, we're trying to not let our palms or our fingers leave the ground. And that is for 5 up to 15, 20, whatever feels good. And on some of this stuff, guys, you might find that one stretch is super easy for you. The other one's releasing stuff, and it actually just feels good to do it because your body's opening up. You can do more reps if you want. That's perfectly fine. Yeah. So, good job, everybody. That's 2 down. All right, we're gonna start round 3. Long lunges. Stay as upright as you can, nice and tall. We're gonna do up to 15 per side. Get as wide as you can. You can go wider, Sarah? Let's do this. Calling Sarah out. Let's see. Where am I? How's this?
That's pretty wide. Wow. I'm actually impressed.
Oh. Up to 15 here. Working on my splits. Horse stance pulse. Get nice and wide, guys. Again, on this one, try not to let your torso fold forward. So the more vertical we can keep our torso, the more we'll get out of our hips and open up that area. Now it feels like you're riding a horse. Giddy up. Straddle stance pulses. Get nice and wide. Fold down by pushing the hips back. Pulse down as low as you can be. Good job. After that, we're going to do our down dog pulses. Up to 15 here, guys.
Oh, it feels good. I'm sure you guys feel a lot more open this time.
After the down dog pulses, our seated figure 4 side push-up. So again, go slow, just slow yourself down a little bit as you get closer to the ground. Again, the shoulder closest to the knee, try to see if you can make contact with the ground on that one. If you can't, try exhaling and see if it allows you to go deeper. This is what?
Oh, this one.
It's the hardest one.
Is this round 3 or 4?
Okay, after we get that, we're going into our... Oh. Everyone's doing amazing. Amazing. Alrighty, guys.
Seated shoulder extension?
Seated shoulder extension. So, I guess the way to progress this, if you're starting to open up more, just scoot your butt farther forward. That's all you gotta do. And then another thing you can do too is inhale through your nose, right? Inhale through the nose, push your belly out. That'll stiffen up and protect the low back a little bit, and it'll help you isolate those hips. So we're not getting a lot of twist in the spine, but we're starting to open up the hips a little bit more. You can do that again, inhaling through your nose, pushing your belly out by contracting outward with your abs, and that'll help. Once you're done, go ahead and stand up. We'll start at the top together.
Do you want to
What?
do the round 4?
Yeah, you can check everybody. Everyone cool? All right. Round 4, guys. Long lunge.
Oops.
Get nice and wide. Just keep your chest upright. See if you go a little wider. 5 to 15 here.
Nice, guys. Really good. Nice, Denali. All right, Natalia, Julie. Julie, you're in your living room. Sorry, guys. I was like blocking Jesse. Nice, Jenny. Nice, Rose. Cal and Elaine. Greg. Krishna. Liesel.
Trying to get on that horse. Horse stance. Get nice and wide. Keep the chest up. Don't pull forward. Knees are pulled apart. Really get those knees apart. And we're going to bounce to the bottom.
Good, guys. Pull the knees apart. Don't let your knees cave in. Really good. Abs are tight, so make sure you're always tight core. Tight core. Pull the
After you
knees
get
apart.
15 for me. Good. You guys really do look like you're riding a horse.
Sorry.
Awesome. From there, we're going to do our straddle pulse, right? So here, we're going to push those hips back and fold up to 15. Good job, everybody. Next round, next thing is a downward dog pulse. So if you want to get a little bit more stretchy, close the gap between your hands. So just bring your hands closer together and you'll feel your shoulders more as opposed to wider. The closer they are together, the more you're going to feel your shoulders, okay? Claw into the ground.
Good. Claw into the ground. If you need to bend your legs here, that's totally fine. Just pull your head through your arms. Nice. Really good.
From there, it's our seated figure four side push-up, okay? Okay. Ever watch that part? Okay. No?
Yes.
All right. One.
Good, guys. Make sure you feel a lot of twist and rotation. You don't want your hands too far apart. Elbows are going back. Nice.
Awesome. So that side push-up's really good if you know anybody who is a golfer. Rotation's a big one in that. If anybody has IT band issues, that's also going to open up the IT band. Okay, next thing is the seated shoulder extension with the hip rotation. So again, hands are nice and close together, right? We're going to pull the shoulders back, scoot our butt forward, and then rotate. Push your abs out by inhaling through your nose, create that intra-abdominal pressure, which allows us to get more hip action.
Yeah, good. Push those abs out. You don't want to feel yourself arching too much in your low back. Nice.
I love that one.
All right.
All right, guys. One more round.
Last round?
Last round. Sarah's going to take it home. Yeah. All right, guys, ready? Long lunge. Try to stay as upright as possible. Up, down, and go. good.
Burns.
I need to work on those myself.
Uh,
Downward, or straddle standing pulse.
Straddle.
See if you go a little wider on this one, a little deeper. It's the last one. Good. Flex your quads. Dig those toes into the ground, especially the big toe. Down dog pulses. And again, guys, if you really want to open up those shoulders a little more, just get your hands a little closer together. Almost so that let's say your thumbs are almost touching. Pulse, pull, and push away from the ground. Push away from the ground. Imagine you're trying to get your arms to stretch. Push, push, push. All right, seated figure 4 side push up. Again, the shoulder closest to the knee. If you can get that to the ground, that'll help. You only come up as far as you need to get out of the stretch. So you're going into the stretch, out of the stretch, into the stretch, out of the stretch. Good, guys. Other side. Don't let it.
Yeah.
All right, last thing here. We're going to our seated shoulder external rotation for the hip. Internal rotation for the hip. Shoulder extension. Scoot your butt farther away. More. Now, scoot your feet farther away. Right there. How's that feel? Too intense? This is intense.
Oh, I think my right shoulder finally opened up.
And on the 100th rep, Sarah's shoulder finally opened up. Sometimes it takes a little work. Awesome job, guys.
Did it? Done? Alright guys, we're gonna do a couple of stretches before we part. So when you guys are ready, we're gonna come into a Sphinx pose. So you're gonna lay onto your belly. And then we're gonna come up onto our forearms. So your elbows should be right underneath your shoulder. And then you're just gonna.
Good. And then in this position, she's trying to pull her elbows back just a little bit. To imagine you're trying to drag yourself across the room. Now also imagine this. Imagine on the bottom part of your lowest part of your belly, all the way to where your neck is, there's a rubber band. And then as I roll my upper back up, I'm trying to stretch that rubber band that is running from my neck to the lowest part of my belly. Once you start to feel that stretch, breathe as deeply as you can in through your nose and out through your mouth. That's how we're going to stretch that whole chain of muscle and connective tissue. I do this sometimes for like 5 to 10 minutes at night. when I really need it. It's also a great release for your lower back. So if you ever have back issues, believe it or not, this is one of those things that's magic. But you gotta hang out here. Sometimes I'll put pillows underneath my chest too, because I know the shoulders can get a little tired. So big, deep inhales, big exhales. If we wanted to gamify this, see if you can stretch more and more with every breath. And then with every inhalation, can you get bigger? Can you just fit a little bit more air in your body? Get a little bit more expansion in your lungs, in your diaphragm, in all your tissues. So that's the goal here. You're not squeezing your butt. You're totally relaxed. You're just stretching that rubber band that's running from the bottom of your belly to the top of your neck. We're elongating. And we're trying to breathe as big as you've ever breathed in your life, but slowly, big, deep, not a panic breath. You want to go big inhales. Drink that air in with your nose. All right, from there, we're gonna go slowly come out of that, guys. We're gonna do our reclining spinal twist pose. So we've done this one before. She's gonna be on her back, and her knees are bent. Hands are out to the side like this, right? Nice and gentle. You can go ahead and just fold down to one side, and that's it. If you want to get a little more stretch out of it, so if you want to get a little more stretch here, you can. Her knees are on her right side, so what she can do is take her right arm and push that top leg down. If you find your knees are wanting to come apart because you don't have mobility in the top of that hip. So for some of you guys, that might not be a problem. For some of you, like myself, I definitely push that leg down because my knee always wants to come up. Feel that? Good. And you can even twist your neck and look away the opposite direction of where your knees are. So that'll get a little bit even more of a twist in the spine. So the neck is part of your spine, right? Your cervical spine. And just breathe, guys. Big inhales, big exhales. So as deeply as you're breathing, in the stretch we did before this, see if you can stretch or breathe a little bigger. The open area, as far as your body's concerned, see if you can breathe. Imagine you're pushing all that air into the top of that area, right where your ribs are, underneath your ribs, the side of your belly. Really breathe deeply here. When you feel like you've had enough, maybe this is intense for you or not, go ahead and feel free to switch to the other side. Gently, don't force it. Just take your time. Good. Same thing here, guys. If you need to push that top leg down with that arm, do that. You want to twist your neck and look away the opposite direction of where your knees are. Do that. And breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose. If you are tight and you do feel a little bit more of a stretch when you inhale, hold the breath for a couple seconds on the deepest inhale you can take. That'll give you even more of a stretch. And then when you exhale, nice and slow, just release nice and slow. And that is a wrap, guys. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question. Are Wednesdays going to be stretchy in general?
not, they can be, I don't know.